Welcome back to your Buckeye Talk prop bets of the week. Doug Lesmerises, Stephen Means, and Nathan Baird. We take a little bet that we try to talk about it from a football standpoint, but it's like a little piece of this game between Ohio State and Wisconsin on Saturday night. Stephen, what do you like from a prop bet standpoint this week?
So the over-under for yards this game for Braylon Allen, Wisconsin's running back, is 87.5. And I would bet the under on this with my Buckeye tokens. And the reason why is that the past decade, since this has been a thing of who has a better running back, Ohio State or Wisconsin running backs, Melvin Gordon in that 2014 Big Ten championship game, 2.9 yards per carry. He only had 76 yards. Jonathan Taylor only 41 yards and then 52 yards. The only good game was the Big Ten championship game in 2019 when he had 148 yards in that game. And so I averaged that all out, and it was 3.9 yards per carry. And I put that into what Braylon Allen is averaging this year with his 17 carries per game, and that was 66.3 yards, which is almost like 20 yards under. So I would take the under on that with Wisconsin once again, with Ohio State, keeping another Wisconsin back in check.
I really like Braylon Allen, but I like that bet. Strategically, from an Ohio State standpoint, Wisconsin offensive line, how Wisconsin's going to try to attack, I think there's a lot of things to lead you to the Braylon Allen under, even though I think the guy's awesome. All right, Nathan Baird, what you got?
I would also, I think, take the Braylon Allen under because I'm going to take the over on Graham Mertz's passing yards. That's Wisconsin quarterback. He's at 174.5 is where they've set the line. And I went back and looked. I found 5 games against what I would call good teams. That includes the Washington State team that just beat them, which remains to be seen whether they're actually good. But also games from the last couple of years against like bowl caliber Big Ten teams. And there were 5 games where he went over 200 or over 174.5 yards. The loss to Washington State, a loss last year to Notre Dame, took him 41 attempts to throw for 240. A loss to Penn State took him 35 attempts to throw for 185. A loss to Iowa took him 34 attempts to throw for 202, and a loss to Northwestern from 2020 where it took him 41 attempts to throw for 230. Sorry, that's a lot of numbers, but I'm basically saying that I think he's going to get it over 174.5 because I think where Ohio State is most vulnerable right now is at cornerback. I think they believe he has the passing talent to come out and maybe play off type a little bit and just attack Ohio State through the air and try to make that be like their first strike as opposed to being Allen. But I don't believe he'll be efficient enough to sustain that for a game enough to beat Ohio State. So if you can somehow find somebody to take your bet, like maybe a friend, take the bet, but then also have like the added caveat of like, he'll go over, but also look bad doing it. That's the bet I would make.
A statistical victory while looking terrible. Buckeye Talk. I am going to take Wisconsin over 9.5 points in the first half. So it's a first half line over under just on Wisconsin. And I'm fascinated to see Jim Knowles adapt to this style of offense. I just don't know how often he's faced a team like Wisconsin. And I think I like Jim Knowles in the second half once he's got a little taste of it. But I could see Wisconsin moving the ball early on. And so that's 2 scoring drives. Like maybe in the first 2 possessions, they just march and get a touchdown. And then they do enough on another drive to kick a field goal, although it feels like the Wisconsin field goal kicker is not good. So that idea of early on as Jim Knowles adjusts to this big offensive line and 12 and 13 personnel and a big running back, I just think, even though we all kind of agree Graham Mertz is going to be throwing it, that chess match, I think I bet on Jim Knowles in the end, but I think it might take 3 or 4 drives until Jim Knowles is locked in on how he really wants to try to stop Wisconsin. And in the meantime, I think Wisconsin will score 10 first half points. So that's why I'm taking the over on that. And I kind of like that even more than the full game thing, because again, halftime adjustments. I know Adam Rittenberg, I think it's Adam Rittenberg from ESPN, talks a lot about how Knowles is so good at in-game adjustments. So I just think there might be a learning curve with this style of offense. Those are the prop bets we like. We talk all about stuff like this on our Buckeye Talk podcast. And of course, we hope you try our tech subscription. It's a 2-week free trial. Right now, go ahead and do it. Text 614-350-3315. For Nathan and Stephen, I'm Doug. Those were our Buckeye Talk prop bets.